Hi, and welcome to Non-Meat, the show that helps you navigate through your different vegetarian and vegan options. Now, today I am going to be making a very simple burger that you can try out at home. Why? Because summer is here, and while you're out there, you just want to enjoy some nice different meals. And if you've got vegetarians that you're entertaining, or you just want to try out something different, this is the right place to be. So first of all, I'm going to start with 2 portobello mushrooms. Depending on how many burgers that you want to make, you might need more mushrooms. And what I've done, I've just taken out the stem, so that's all I've done. And the next thing that we're going to do is I am going to make sort of an egg mixture. If you've watched my omelette videos, you'll be able to see what that egg mixture contains of. So what I've got here is some water. It's half a cup of water, and we're just gonna put in the ingredients, and that also needs some ground flour. So that's what our eggy mixture is going to be. So yeah. And let's just get stuck into that. Afterwards, I'm also going to show you how it is that I prep my vegetables that are going to go along with this. It's a wholesome dish and full of goodness, but at the same time, it is a lovely dish. So let's start off. Some of the dry ingredients. So if you've already watched my omelette video, you'll be able to see this. You'll be able to make some of these things. So I'm just going to start off with half a cup of ground flour, and I'm going to take some garlic powder and chili and black pepper, and that just goes there. Now the thing that brings out the little bit of the eggy, because this is our egg mixture, the thing that's going to bring out the egg mixture is this black salt powder. So with that, I've just added half a teaspoon of that, and it's just going to go there. Not forgetting, sort of, I guess you don't have to add all these other spices. I think the salt powder is just about enough. A little bit of some turmeric. This is just for color and stuff like that, but you don't really have to add this on. And that's just gonna go into some water. So in terms of the water that I have, it's about a cup. So it's almost like 1:2. I'm just doing this gently so I don't spill anything over. And I am also gonna add a little bit of mustard. I guess it's one of those, like, I probably would have chosen to put mustard powder instead, but because I've got the liquid version, I'll just put 1/4 teaspoon of mustard into this. Oh, it's all stuck onto the spoon. And I should add, the black salt does really have a very strong eggy taste to it. It's almost like rotten, well, like you can smell eggs. Just want to get that off. I'm also going to add a little bit of this liquid smoke. It's just for a little bit of extra flavor, but you don't have to do this. This is quite a lot actually. So I haven't quite added any salt or anything. And we're gonna take our mushrooms, and they're just gonna be in here. So I'm gonna leave this to soak for a while. Um, but you just want everything to be coated in this. So this is kind of like your egg mixture that you're having. Like I said, it's almost similar. If you've watched the egg omelette video, this is similar but slightly different. Next thing I'm gonna do for now is I'm gonna move on to preparing the vegetables. So for those vegetables, I am gonna be using, for the chips, I'm just gonna, because this is my meal, I'm just gonna be eating that with chips. And I've got 2 potatoes here. I've also got a butternut, so it's just half a butternut. Almost there. I'm struggling with this. Ooh. Goodness. These things are tough. Finally. I'm just gonna use half a butternut and some potatoes, so that's it.
I've just gone ahead and made sure that I have washed my potatoes and also chopped them, and they're ready to go into the oven. One thing that I wanted to do is to also add some salt and some oil. So we'll just start off with the salt. I am going to make 2 batches. One side is just going to be salt and a little bit of oil. The other side is going to have slightly more spices. So let's just start with the salt. This is just going to be mixed to everything, and what I have is about half a teaspoon of salt. This is just going to go everywhere on the potatoes, on the butternut, and also 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. That is just going to go everywhere. I guess with the oil, you don't want to put too much. You just need to be careful when you're using oil. Less is best. Always remember that when it comes to like using oils and stuff like that. Less is best. It's good for your heart. And even with the so-called healthier oils like coconut and olive, you just don't want to go too much. So I've just put that, and it's just gonna all get mixed all over. I guess sometimes I do use like a little sprayer, so it just puts a little bit all over. I guess I'd left some of those, so that's just gonna get a little. I've just got some curry that is just some regular curry from Tesco that I am just putting on the other half so that they have a little bit of a different flavor. So it's not too much spices, but this will just make it taste slightly different than the plain potatoes that you've got on the other half of the tray. So this is just a little bit of variety, shall I say. That's all it is. And I'm just mixing this all with my hands. My hands are clean, just made sure I wash my hands, and that's all going to onto the tray. On the spicy half, I've also decided to add a little bit more of the liquid smoke. It's a little bit on the spicy side, and just a tiny bit of some chili. It's just to make it a little bit more spicier. Spice is the, I don't know, something of life. It goes into the oven for 20 minutes now. That's all. Now we're moving on to the coating of our burger. So I'm just going to start off with half a cup of flour. This is brown flour because that's what I've got in my house, and I'm going to move on and just add the rest of the spices. So we've also got the chili, and we've got like half a teaspoon of the chili that's just going to go there. And the next thing that we have got is our mixed herbs. So that is going to be another half a teaspoon of the mixed herb that is just going in there. And moving on, we have got some paprika. I am going to go a little bit more generous with the paprika. I'm going to add just a teaspoon. Well, actually, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon, but it is slightly more than the chili or the mixed herbs. And I'm going to go ahead and also add some oregano, and also some basil and some parsley as well. So those are the other 3 spices that I have just gone in there. I also wanted to add in some garlic powder and also some white pepper as well to the mixture. So I've got 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and some half a teaspoon of the white pepper and also some salt. It's up to you what you want to add. You could also potentially add some like onion salt or something like that, and just make sure that this is all mixed. So if you've ever coated like chicken or something like that, this is like something that I'm trying to replicate for this burger. This is why I've got like all this range of spices, but obviously you don't have to have every single one, and it also depends what sort of flavor that you want. But I guess having tried this, I think it's actually a good combination, just saying, if in case you want to copy me. And also I added just a little bit of salt. One thing I was about to forget, I shouldn't forget it, is nutritional yeast. This stuff is good. It just gets a little bit of a different flavor. So I've just added 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast to the mix. And that's all gonna just get mixed up. It's gonna be yummy. Now that we've just added the nutritional yeast, we might as well add a little bit of some direct spices. This is just to give it a little bit of an extra spiciness to it, but it's not too much to overpower the rest of the spices. So it's almost like a pinch.
So we're gonna take our mushrooms that I've just been soaking, and we're gonna dip them in this mixture.
There is an option to deep fry this, but I don't like to deep fry anything. As much as possible, I will always try and avoid deep frying any of my food. This will just add a lot of free radicals that you don't need in your diet. But I guess people do deep fry things, so I am going to just pick the next one, and I'm just gonna cover it with the flour and just make sure everything is nice and covered. And because the outer bit of the mushroom is hard to get the flour just all coated, but the aim is to just make sure that it's coated as much as possible. So the flavor will be still going on the inside because of the ridges that are in the mushroom. A lot of the spices will get inside, so you'll not be able to feel the difference that there is nothing at the outer bit. So this will just still taste very lovely. And I'm going to take some of the liquid that we've got and just put them in the middle. This is just to make sure that a lot more spices are just being held there. And what I'm also going to do is I am going to shallow fry them a little bit, so I do not have time to put this into the oven. So what I'm going to do is just put about a teaspoon or a half into this is coconut oil onto a pan, and just make sure that that's heated. And I keep getting my hands dirty. So what I've got right now is this has just been frying for a little bit of a while, and I guess I get carried away, so it browned a little bit, and I was getting so hungry. I decided to add some potatoes because they were just taking too long in the oven, but obviously they ended up getting burnt. So because there wasn't as much oil in the pan. This is where I'm saying, like, I don't use that much oil when I'm doing this recipe. You just don't want to put too much. But you're going to want to fry this for probably about 5 minutes at a very low heat. And that's what you're going to do. And these are really yummy. So we're going to move forward and also start onto our prep in terms of the actual burger. So I've got some brown bread, but as much as possible, if you can make your own bread, it is best. I didn't have a lot of time to actually make this bread from scratch, but I am going to show you some of the lovely things that I've added. So I went into Tesco and saw these two cheeses and trying to decide which ones to take. I was like, okay, I'll take everything. And what we've got here is starting off with avocado. You're just going to want to get that cut and just scoop out the flesh. This is how I cut my avocado. It's first of all, I just need to cut the different sections or pieces and then actually just scooping it out. But this is gonna just have a lot of things or a lot of layers. I've also got some Romanian paste. This stuff is good. I used to go to Romania, and when I moved to London, I saw a shop that sells it, and it's a lovely spread. If you're having bread, to just add to your bread or sandwiches and stuff like that. I normally just eat this with just tomatoes and onions, and it actually tastes good. So that's me getting carried away. Now moving on, we're just gonna scoop one side. So one side has got that Romanian paste, the other side has just got the avocado. So it's almost like very heavy in terms of lovely oils. This is why I don't like to deep fry things, because when you look at it, you're getting your healthy fats from stuff like avocados, good wholesome paste and stuff. And we're gonna move on and chop some of the vegetables that we've got. First of all, I'm just starting with some tomatoes, and it's just gonna be sliced nice and thin as possible, and that's just gonna go there. I know we know how to cook, also like just to chop tomatoes, not too much. And I'm going to also add a little bit of some lettuce. I've got some fresh lettuce in my house. Fresh vegetables are always good, but I guess whenever I'm using lettuce, I always try and also add some spinach. That's because I do know most of what lettuce is water. So I also add a little bit of spinach. So there goes a burger, it's done. So I have just added some cheese, and actually I ended up trying both versions of the cheese. They do taste better. I'm still trying to decide which one I actually prefer out of the two. But also I've gone ahead and chopped some onions, so those onions is just gonna go on top. And I've also chopped some beetroot. I do like some raw beetroot. I was like, why not add a little bit of a crunch to this whole thing? Moving on, we've got some tomatoes that are just going there. This is gonna be very hard to chew, by the way. I'm probably not gonna eat that on camera. And now we've got our spinach that's just going there, and then the other side of the bun. So yeah, there you have it, your awesome burger that you really have to try. So, in terms of serving this, I also decided to add a little bit of mayo, as if the calories weren't enough, just to make sure that I am well fed. I do work out, so just say. But I'm serving this with um, instead of our potatoes are outside the oven, and I've got a side salad that's there, and that lovely burger with the onions, the avos, everything just looks so good. Like, I was just celebrating just making this recipe. This is how good it was. And also, I've got some homemade tomato ketchup that's on the side, and it's also got some. So, like with all of my recipes, I definitely invite you to try these at home. And also, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And thank you so much for joining me as I make this awesome burger meal. And have a lovely day. Enjoy your days, guys. There's Butternuts are just great dipped in ketchup. I just had to add that there. Thank you.